What's up? This is Jan Stavisky. Let's take 5 minutes to understand when to buy Bitcoin. This is going to apply for the next couple of weeks, and this technique is going to apply for 10 years from now. All right. So if you're new, you want to understand when's a good time to get into Bitcoin right now if you haven't bought any, or you want to get some more. All right. So we're going to hop into the chart. This is called Coinigy. It's a paid program, but you can use TradingView.com. You can use the same tools, the same charts, and it's super easy. All right, so let's go to the chart and follow along with me really quick. It's going to be super simple, and I hope you guys are able to follow along and understand this process and understand when's a good time to buy in if you're watching this video right here in December. All right, so let's look at this chart. This is Bitcoin 2017 chart. Absolutely insane. We're at $10,000, almost 11,000. So how do you know when to buy in? So Bitcoin follows this pattern. It goes up, it comes down, it goes up, it comes down, it goes up, it comes down. Now, it seems simple, right? But if you don't know what you're doing, you're not gonna really know when to buy in, when it's gonna dip, or how far it's gonna go up. So how do we know this? We're gonna use a few simple tools. We're gonna use a line. Let's make that green really quick, and we're gonna do this right here. Okay, we're gonna go back, and we're just gonna start so I can show you how repetitive this pattern is. Okay, so let's start right over here. This is called a resistance. This is the roof of the current trend, the short-term trend. Now, if it breaks, it usually pops off a little bit. Sometimes a little bit, sometimes a lot, right? And when it breaks out and the trend continues, it usually pops off, comes down, establishes this resistance as the floor, something called support, and goes back up to another level. All right, and kind of recharges a little bit, right? And remember, this is resistance. So when it goes down, if the trend continues and the previous resistance doesn't break, which would make the trend fall apart, it would use that as support and keep going up. So this right here would have been a fantastic time to buy right here at about 1,800 bucks, 1,900 bucks. Okay, now let's move along. Now it goes up, right? And we're coming up to the previous resistance. Now remember, if it breaks, it's usually gonna pop off, and that's exactly what it did. Now, how far is it gonna go up, you ask? How do we know that? We're gonna use a fib. It's called the fib tool right here, Fibonacci. Okay, you can use the same thing on TradingView.com. You take the previous resistance. Remember, previous resistance to the support, the floor of where it bounced off. All right, and you're gonna look at these levels. Usually, the trend, same thing for Bitcoin, same thing for crypto. Pretty much any other market, because so many people use this, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It follows these levels. So whenever you come up to a level, it kind of works as resistance itself. So watch, it broke out of this level, kind of bounced around, and the top ended up being right on the dot of 2.61. You see that? Right on the dot. If it broke this, we'd probably be looking at the next level. That's it. Okay? And that's how we knew this was the top of the current trend. Now, we go back. We're going to see how far it's going to fall. What I did, and what you should do, this is how the technique works. You look at the previous resistance again. Right here. Here it is. Okay? 3,000. Now, in hindsight, it looks perfect, right? But before we see this trend, we're going to look at the previous resistance to buy in. We might look at this right here, but because this is such a high level of buy support, because it's the previous resistance, this is where we want to put our buy limits. This is where you want to buy in. So you see it hit it right on the dot again. Look at that. Right on the dot of previous resistance, right on the dot of previous resistance. Let's move up a little bit. Look at the previous resistance. Here's the top of the current trend, and bounced back, hit it, established it as new support, and went back up. Now, if you're looking at the trend right now in the next couple weeks, there's something called CME futures. This is going to allow institutional investors to invest with lower risk. There's going to be a lot more money coming in, and you might think this is going to bring the trend up a lot higher, bring the price of Bitcoin a lot higher. But what usually happens is something called FOMO, fear of missing out. People start buying up before some kind of event, usually a good one, which is in this case CME futures. And when it happens, they sell off. It's kind of like a hype before an event. There's a lot of hype before the event. When the event happens, the hype dies off. And that's exactly what will probably happen in the next couple of days. On December 10th is when CME futures drop. And you see Bitcoin going parabolic. Parabolic means it's making a parabola. The trend is getting sharper and sharper. It's going up faster. And remember, it always pulls back. And because we're looking at the previous support for a pullback, you can understand when to buy in. Or this would be a good probability to buy in. It's not always correct, but history shows that it's pretty accurate. So when do we want to buy in? We're going to look at a few levels. Now, we're going to check how much has it sold off previously. Right here, sold off 36%. Right here is sold off 38%. Whoops. Last sell-off was 30%. And this one was about 20. I wouldn't consider this a sell-off, really. It didn't establish any kind of resistance. It just kind of kept pushing up. I think it's because of CME futures. It's not lining up exactly for the sell-off to happen. And I think because we're going parabolic for so many days straight, I think it's going to be a really nice sell-off. And the place to buy in, if the trend doesn't break, we're going to be looking at around $7,800. This is based on the extensions, the levels, the history of how Bitcoin and charts go up. When they pull back, they establish resistance as new support. And this is the first level that I will be looking at. This is, again, based on what I just told you. And if it follows, it's going to establish this and keep going up. If it does, if the trend does not break. There are different factors that could make it break. Maybe a hack, maybe Bitconnect gets hacked, maybe Bitfinex gets hacked, a lot of money gets stolen, and this might break. Let's get a new line. This right here might break. It might not establish it. It might break. And we'll be looking at a new level of buy support somewhere around this area. Okay? We'll be looking somewhere right here. And that sell-off would be about 49%. That would be a pretty serious one. If it was right here, kind of like how all of these happen, follows history as it has, it will be about 31%, just like these. So that would be normal, healthy pullback for our trend to cut, for our trend to keep going up and sustain a healthy market. Now, if this breaks, another level breaks, and it breaks the trend line, this would be a bearish signal. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but this is a possibility and something you have to always look out for, because if you're not risk averse, you can lose a lot of money. Okay? So that's a potential of what could happen. And if you're buying in, remember, look at the levels. Look at the previous resistance. This could be level of buy-in 78. If it breaks, we're looking at 63. If that breaks, we're looking at 49 or 5,000. And it's all a possibility. You have to understand that, okay, Bitcoin's not going to go up forever. It's going to come down. It's going to have pullbacks. But in the end, I think Bitcoin's going to be worth a lot more money. So remember, this is just in the short term for you to get a better position, for you to get a buy-in at a better price. And this is just one of the possibilities. And if it does happen, these are the levels we are looking at. Now, in the next couple of days, if you're looking at this video before December 10th, what could happen is that it goes up. Let's use this line right here, okay? Because we have a couple days left, maybe about 10 days, 8 days, I think the sell-off is going to happen. Just a few days prior, people start, racing to sell off to take profit, it does something like this, right? It goes up to like 15, 16,000, goes completely straight up. Remember, it's gonna pull back, and it's probably gonna establish at some kind of buy support. Maybe it's gonna establish at 11.4, or probably I think it's gonna go a lot lower than that. Just understand that if it just keeps going up, there's gonna be a pullback. So watch out for it. Don't chase the FOMO, fear of missing out. Don't worry about it, because there's gonna be a pullback. Okay? So I hope you guys understand when you're gonna be buying into Bitcoin. This applies again for the short term before December 10th and for the long term. All right? If you guys have any questions, comment below. I'm gonna reply to everybody. If you guys like the video, you guys want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'm going to put out so much content to make you an expert in crypto, and I'm going to be doing Bitcoin giveaways in the future, so stay tuned. I'm going to provide as much value as I can to you. Cheers. Any fees, all right?